Happy birthday, Mom. Here is a video of all the reasons why we love you from all of us to you. And yeah, I hope you have the best birthday ever. We love you. Enjoy.
So something I love about Jenny is wherever we go, and for the longest time, even when I first met Jenny, wherever we went, she was famous. Everyone knew Jenny and loved Jenny, and it's just awesome to see. And you know, it's funny now, and that seems to be passing on to all my kids and passing on every which way. But that's something I love about Jenny is she is. I'm married to a rock star. She's famous. You know, another thing I really love about Jenny is the fact that how my kids just love her and how they love their mom, and it's just so cool to see. And you know, I come home and often we have a bed, and our bed is always full. And I come home, or I come in the evening, my bed is full of kids, and it's full of girls, and they're all just in a group snuggle. Or I come home from work, and there's about 4 girls on my bed with my wife. And it's just awesome to see that you have that relationship and that you have that love. So maybe I need to get a bigger bed. I don't know. But, you know, much to my chagrin, sometimes when I'm really tired, my bed is full of girls. And I just love that. And also, you know, we'll have the son. My J-Man's in there too, and I love it. So that's just something I love about Jenny. And that's uniquely Jenny, that's the case. That it's snuggle time with mom. One of my favorite stories about your mom. And it's something that still to this day, I think your mom is so beautiful. I remember the first time I met her, my mom was introducing me, and actually my mom and my sister told me that I needed to meet you. And, you know, when I first got there to church, when I first got back to Boise and to meet you, I just didn't say, I can't date you if my mom met me. But I remember seeing you at church, and you were just beautiful. And then I remember a little bit later being at your apartment, because I was over there seeing your roommate. And I remember you came out and you're going out on this date with this guy that was kind of nerdy, but it sounds like a charity date. And it was a charity date from your mom, where she set you up with this guy. And you came out, and I remember looking at you, and I was I thought my jaw was on the ground. And I was sitting there with the other guy, and I was so blown away by how beautiful you are. And to this day, I still think that. You know, I was just looking at the pictures, our wedding pictures, and most recently the pictures you had with Riley, and how beautiful you are, and what a blessed man I am. And I'm thankful for you. I love you, Jenny. Jenny, another thing I really love about you is your creativity. And it stems back to when we first met, your creativity. And I remember sitting by you in your jeans store when you had your jeans store, and I'd come over there, and you had all these jeans that you couldn't sell, or they were just too holy, or you couldn't sell them or export them or anything like that. And what you did is you then got tie-dye fabric, and you glued it on the back, and you sold it. And it's just amazing. We'd see those jeans floating around with that tie-dye fabric behind it in those holes for years after that. And so that creativity you have just comes through in everything you do. And I love your creativity. I love how you've creatively put the color tiles on your yoga shop. I love how you've hung the curtains there, how you've redone it to a point where it looks really good. And so I love your creativity, and that's something I just love about you. You know, something else I love about Jenny and your mom to my family is she put you guys first. And I love that she made that choice. And I know that was hard, because she had a lot of things going for her. She had her business going for her. She was very successful there. She's being very creative. She's doing things. She even had a chance to get a nursing degree at Boise State. And, you know, something that she did, she put you guys first, and made that a choice. And she made a choice to invest in you. And I love her for that. I totally love her for that, because that was something that's so important. And I think that's a great bit of gratitude to you, Jenny, for that, because the love that you showed our kids, and you showed me by doing that, and you trusted me to support you.
5 things I love about Mom is she's generous, generous. She's entertaining. She's just a natural. She's so spontaneous and fun all the time. And
another N is she is nurturing because she's our mom and she just loves us and she knows how to love us. And then I for innovative because she's always thinking of things to do and she just is a trendsetter. And then lastly, she's just my mom and I love her for it and I love how everyone wants to be around her and she just has a spirit about her. My favorite memories with mom are just when she just being herself, whether it's building trailers or going to the cabin and becoming a landscaper or just being a yoga therapist, or when she took us to Barnes & Noble and she bought us books and that's what we did that summer. And she just always has something for us to do and she doesn't even have to, she makes it look like she doesn't have to try. And another thing I really love about her is her little analogies she comes up with. And one time in Young Woman, she came up with an analogy for dating and it was about marshmallows and tres leches, and you can either have a marshmallow now or wait for your tres leches. And she taught me the lesson and I will always choose tres leches. So I love you, red hot sexy mama. You're the best.
There is so much I could say about my mom, and truth be told, if I talked long enough I would probably cry. My mom is incredible. She is an amazing woman. She's fearless, she's strong, she's independent, she's kind, she's generous. She'd literally give the shirt off her back to whoever. And one thing I will never doubt is how much she loves her kids. There are a few stories I can think of that demonstrate how much my mom loves her kids, and how fearless she is. But one of my favorite memories of my mom is when we went bridge jumping before my mission. She was so excited to go, so pumped, and then she got there and she was so nervous. She stood there for a long time and she looked down, she looked back at me, she looked down, she stood there for a while, she watched me and Livy go, and finally she went. And she was so proud and I was so proud, and it seems really stupid, but it's pretty scary. So she jumped off, and that is one great story in itself. But I think the best part was that I think maybe a week later she took Jen Archibald to the same bridge, and here's my mom jumping off the bridge left and right like an absolute fearless woman that she is. And she wanted to share that joy with her friends. She wanted Jen to feel that sense of accomplishment and that joy of doing something hard and doing something cool. And I feel like my whole life my mom has taught me how to be fearless and how to do hard things, and to not only do hard things but to share that with everyone else. And man, she's just such a light to be around. I don't know anyone that doesn't just want to hang out around her all the time. I think some of my favorite memories with mom is just being in her bed, because I think we can all say as her kids that she has a way of making us all feel so loved, and loved on a personal level that not everyone has that ability. And like I said, it's gonna make me cry. But one of my other favorite memories is just when she came to visit me here. She is just such a special woman. I just can't talk about her without crying. But I love her so much and love being with her. Happy birthday, Mom!
Hello, happy birthday! Okay, so one of my favorite memories of you actually was probably pretty recently when you single-handedly coached me through a handstand on a paddleboard in the middle of a river with little kids watching. That was really cool. And I enjoyed it so much, and I remember it. I think I'll remember it for a long time because you showed me that I can do something that I never thought I could do before. And that's a really cool skill that not very many people have. And I was able to do something that I've never done before in my whole life. So anyway, that was probably one of my favorite encounters I've had with you. So happy birthday. Have a good one.
Okay, so Mom is always patient. She's super kind about that. She's amazing at that part. She's always kind. She always asks, could you, or if you have time, instead of now. So that's pretty nice. She's always just outgoing. She tries her best to help us out, and it's really sweet because she loves us. And Mom is the best ever, actually. She's super nice, and I'm glad that she's my mom because I love her a lot because she's always there for us, and I'm thankful for that. And she's always there for us when we're sad, and she doesn't really care if there's I don't know how to put it, but if she's doing something, she'll just drop it for us, which is really sweet. And she always tries her best, and it's really recognizable because she's pretty amazing. It's crazy that she has such high patience for all of us. She's awesome. Okay, my favorite memory of Mom is when it was 5th grade, and we had kind of just discovered paddleboarding and how cool it was. And Mom had pulled me out of class, and she was like, okay, we're going paddleboarding. I was like, that's awesome. And I loved it so much. And we ditched school for half the day, and we were just having fun. We were paddleboarding. It was super nice outside. And then on the way there, we got, I don't remember what place it was, but it was really good food on the way there. And then we even got some fast food on the way back. It was at Quinn's Pond, and it was just the coolest time ever. And I remember saying, but Mom, my teacher's kind of mad that I'm leaving class today. She goes, well, screw your teacher. And I was just like, wow, my mom's cool. And I don't know, that was just really awesome. You know, she's an awesome mom. Love you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Here's a few things that I love about you and some memories. The first one is you just have this incredible wealth of knowledge that I really admire. You're always learning new things, and it's every day I'm surprised with the new things that I learned that you know how to do, and I'd love to be able to just continually pick your brain and really learn all these things and learn all these new skills that you've acquired throughout your life. I remember the very first time that I met you down at the Marriott Hotel in Provo before Halsey went on her mission. And since then, you've always made me feel like part of the family, and I really love that. It's really great to be able to have another mom who loves me and cares for me just as much as my mom. And yeah. One other thing I love about you is I know that you were a terrific mother and a perfect example to Riley. She's amazing, and it seems like she's always telling me that she learned this from you, I learned that from you, and a lot of the skills that she's learned she's gotten from you. And I think that's really shows a sign of a great mother and someone who really did a lot for their kids. And I know that Riley's just a walking example of that. And yeah. Although I'm not super great at yoga. I love being able to come to your classes. You really make me feel like I'm part of it and really help me enjoy it personally. And I know that your strong characteristics and strong personality are a perfect fit for that. And it just helps me, learn to trust you. And I feel like you're that perfect spiritual leader. And I just really admire that as well. Lastly, I just really enjoy the spirit that you have about your countenance. I know that you have a great relationship with our Father in heaven, and I can definitely feel that when I'm around you, and when we're all together as a family, I can really feel that, the Spirit's with us, and I really appreciate that personally, because that's the sort of spirit that Riley and I want to carry around as well. And so yeah, happy birthday. I hope it's a great one, and I hope you enjoy these videos. Love you, Jenny.
Okay, 5 reasons to love Mom. Let's see. First of all, I love my mom because she just loves everyone and knows how to make everyone feel so loved, and everyone that's around her just feels so uplifted. She just has a way about her that people are just drawn to her, and anytime someone's doing something, it just becomes 100 times better if Mom's there, and everyone just wants Mom to be there because she's so fun and so funny and just the most hilarious person on the planet, and I could laugh with her all day long, and I love that. Second thing about Mom is she's the most generous person on the whole planet, and I'm so grateful that she's been an example of that. She doesn't think twice when it comes to giving to people. If they are in need, she gives it to them. If it's the clothes on her back, she doesn't care. She'll give it without thinking twice. She's just super generous to her kids and to those around her, and I admire that about her. And 3, she's an entrepreneur, and I think it's super inspiring to see the things that Mom can come up with. She's super creative, and one thing that's amazing about her is you can't stop her. If she has like something that she wants to accomplish or some sort of idea or something or goal, she'll, just because she doesn't know how to do it, it doesn't mean it can stop her. She comes up with what's needed and figures it out and will research, and just she's a go-getter. She can do anything, and I think we all get to be a witness to that every day, and I'm so grateful for that, and I think it's inspiring, and I hope one day that I can just be as go-getter as my mom. And then can't remember what I'm on, is it 4? I love my mom because she just supports all of us no matter what, even if it's like something that we're crazy and we don't know what we're doing. She just will sit down with you and figure out, well, what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? And she'll talk you up and make you feel good, and automatically you feel 100 times better because your mom knows what you're doing and she believes in you, and I'm really thankful for that. I just really love my mom, and I hope to be like my mom one day. Also, another thing is she's a really good cook, and I don't know how I'll ever get to the point in my life where I can just whip something together out of nothing, but I hope one day I am as talented as my mom in that department, because my whole life it's been my one job in the kitchen has been sit and look pretty and just talk my mom's ear off, because she's the best listener ever and will let you talk about anything, and so I just admire that about her, and I hope one day I can do that. And the memories I have with Mom, there's a lot of good ones, and I think my mom makes me laugh harder than anyone. Some good memories I have with Mom, I remember when I was little, and I was so happy because I had like gone to bed, and Mom had promised we'd make cookies at some point, and I didn't really think twice about it. I had gone back to sleep, and or gone to sleep and not really thought about it. And then my mom came in and woke me up and said, we're making cookies, do you want to make cookies? And I was ecstatic. And making cookies with my mom, just one-on-one, getting that special time with her, I think is one of my favorite memories. And I love her cookies too. And I think cookies and Diet Coke is a good memory for me. I will always cherish the times I've gotten to sit at the table or on the couch and eat Mom's chocolate chip cookies and drink Diet Coke. It's one of my favorite things. And then another more recent memory that I'm really grateful for, and I think just shows a lot about Mom and the kind of mom that she is when I was moving down to school and she came with me to bring all my stuff down to my first dorm room. And all the moms are hauling in all the girls' like stuff into their dorm rooms, and Mom happened to, being the mom that she is, had her big dolly, like her rubber wheel dolly, and just wheeled in all my stuff, making it 100 times faster and 100 times easier. And before that, we had just gone to TJ Maxx and gotten my whole room to be pineapple, and I just was so happy when my mom got us in my room all put together. And another thing that shows a lot about Mom is she's a trendsetter, because all the ladies there were like, oh my gosh, where'd you get that? That's so smart. And Mom's like, you can borrow it, you can borrow it. And she's just let people borrow it. And not only did she like let people borrow it, but Mom went and helped people bring their other stuff in and made friends instantly. And I was like, wow, that's my mom. That is classic Jenni. Just can make friends anywhere she goes, and is a trendsetter, and people want to be her, and I'm so lucky to be her daughter. Another memory is like the fact that all my friends love my mom and want to be her best friend, and I think that's part of the reason I have all my friends, is because my mom is so good and they all want to be her friend, and I'm so lucky. And yeah, it's always a good time with Mom. I love to see her, I love to come home and snuggle her, and I'm so grateful. So happy birthday, Mom. I love you so much. You're the best ever. I'm so lucky, and I couldn't ask for a better mom.
One of my favorite memories with you, Mom, is so special to me, and I'll never forget it. It was my senior year of high school, and I was just about to graduate, and the board did this thing where all the girls that were graduating seniors and entering Relief Society all came in, and their moms would introduce them, and we went last, and everyone had, brought up presents for their daughters or done something silly like that, and you got up there and you said, I didn't buy anything for you or have a physical gift to give you, but there is something that I want to give you right now, and you bore your testimony for me in front of everybody, and that was just the most special moment of my whole life, and I'll never, ever, ever forget it. And I'll never forget what you said, and you said, no matter what, Heavenly Father does love you, and He loves me, and He'll always love us no matter what. And you said that you love me so much, and that was so special. And I remember I was crying, and the whole room was crying, and it was just so special to hear your sacred testimony that you hold so dear to your heart, and you gave it to me as a gift. And that was one of the most amazing things you could have ever given me. Another one of my very favorite special memories that I'll always hold close to me is when we went and picked out my wedding dress. That was so fun, because we had just finished a yoga class, and it was really spur of the moment, and we didn't really know what we were gonna do for my wedding dress, or I don't even know what I wanted. And you're like, well, let's just go check out this secondhand store. And we went in there. There's so many dresses, and I remember you picking me all these different ones to go try on. And I remember when we found the one that I eventually ended up taking home, you're like, that's your dress. And I was like, yeah, but it isn't exactly what I wanted. But you knew what I wanted, and you could see it in that dress before I even could. And you helped me see that in a way I would never seen before. And I think you do that for a lot of things. You have an act for taking something old or that nobody wants anymore and you turn it into something beautiful. And I think that is your superpower. You do it with literally everything you touch, like even in people's lives. Like your students will come in and they'll be feeling, you know, kind of unwanted or used from themselves personally, and you make them feel new. You make them feel loved and important, and you've always done that with me in my life, and you never, ever stopped me from reaching my full potential, and you've always had faith in me. And I think that is one of your many talents in this world, is to make things that are feeling low or feeling, you know, not their best, and you make them feel perfect in every way and like we can do anything we want. And I am just so thankful that I have a mom that can believe in me like that. One thing I love about you, and I hope to, you know, inherit from you one day, I think it's so funny, is everywhere we go, it's like, oh my gosh, you're Jenni Grigg's daughter? And I was like, yeah, I am. And my favorite is when they say, I looked like you. That's a big compliment to me, because I think you're the most beautiful woman to have ever walked this earth. And I never want you to forget how beautiful you are inside and out. You can make people feel beautiful, but I want you to know how beautiful you are. And I even had a teacher in high school who was like, oh my gosh, you're Jenni Grigg's daughter. I totally had a crush on her in high school, and stuff like that. Or when we go to the downtown Boise market and the crepe guys are like, oh my gosh, you're Jenni Grigg's daughter. Like, those are some of my favorite memories, and they always make me smile when that happens. And now it happens all the time with yoga. Like, oh my gosh, your mom owns Red Yoga. And I'm like, yeah, aren't I so cool? And I just hope to be as cool as you are one day and make a name for myself like you have, because everyone who knows you for how kind and beautiful and radiant you are. So I hope to inherit that from you one day. And the biggest shout out of all to you, Mom, is you never ever stop believing in me. When I wanted to do something, you helped me do it. When I didn't see my own potential, you would remind me. And as I finished hair school, and when I graduated and I could hear your name, hear your voice cheering me on as I accepted all my awards, I just thought to myself, I wouldn't be able to do this or be here without all the faith you had in me. And I'm just so lucky you're my mom, and I hope you know how much I love you. You are literally the greatest person in this whole world, and you make everyone else feel so amazing. And I'm so thankful for you and all the faith you've always had in me and all the skills you've taught me. And I just hope one day when I become a mom, I can be just like you. And my whole life I've just wanted to be like you. You're the best thing in my whole life, and I'm so thankful for you. I hope you have a happy birthday. Another one of my favorite memories ever, and I'm not even sure if you'll remember this one. Actually, there's two. I don't know if you remember these, but it was my junior year of high school, right before spring break. It was like the Friday before spring break, and me and my friends never did anything crazy. We need to remember that. But we were at lunch, and we weren't really doing anything the rest of the day at school, and we're all like, some girl had the idea, like, let's just skip school and not go back after lunch. And I was like, oh, okay. And so we looked up a movie, and we're like, let's go to the Northgate Dollar Theater movies. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And I was feeling so rebellious. But I had your debit card, and you were going to come pick it up from the school. And I totally forgot about it. Anyway, so we get halfway to the movies, and you text me, you're like, hey, I'm on my way to the high school to pick up my debit card. And I was like, I texted you back. I was like, oh, Mom, I'm not at school. I'm actually going to the movies. And I knew you wouldn't be mad because you're my mom and you're funny like that. But your reply was the best response anyone could have ever had. And you said, oh, fun. What movie are we seeing? And that is probably one of my favorite memories. And I tell it to everybody when they sit in my chair. I'm like, oh, yeah, my mom's so cool. Like, when I was in high school and I skipped school, she was like, oh, cool, what movie are we seeing? So that was really fun. And then another one of my favorite memories that I love to tell people is in 7th grade when I stood up for a girl in my class to a substitute teacher about going to the bathroom, and she yelled at me in front of everyone and made me cry. That was like one of the most craziest things that had ever happened to me. 2, I came home and I told you about it, and you're like, oh my gosh, no one does that to my daughter. And so we looked her up in the phone book, and we went and toilet papered her house, and we all hopped into the truck and went to Winco and bought toilet paper, and April was there, and we drove all the way out down by Roaring Springs from our Cavallo house, and we toilet papered the substitute teacher. And I will never forget that memory. I always tell people, yeah, my mom was the first person to take me toilet papering, my substitute teacher, when she made me cry. So yeah, those are 2 of my really favorite memories of like how cool of a mom you are. Anyways, I love you. So hopefully the speakers work on my phone. It's being kind of weird, so I apologize in advance. But happy birthday, Aunt Jenny. My favorite story of Aunt Jenny. Well, I have a lot, so I had to really think of like which one. But I have this fun memory of one day I went to yoga class with Jenny, and afterwards she invited me to come with her to get limeades from Sonic for happy hour. And it was so much fun talking with her and laughing with her, and it's just such a fun memory to me because I love how I got that one-on-one time with my Aunt Jenny. Jenny is my second mom, by far my favorite aunt, don't tell anyone. And I just love how much fun I have when I'm with her and how easy she is to talk to, and that she's just the kind of person that's always there for you and makes you feel so loved and so special. So I just love that memory because I got to have that one-on-one time with her and talk with her about life and joke around. But one other story that I have to tell is one night Halsey and I were having a sleepover at the Park Forest House, I believe it was, and we were kneeling down by Halsey's bed praying, and we started kind of having our own little fart battle, going back and forth to each other. And out of nowhere from the living room, we hear a huge fart. So loud. It was so funny. In my mind, like, from that memory, it shook the house. And we just hear Aunt Jenny from the living room say, "Beacha!" So, just absolutely hilarious. So classic. Aunt Jenny, I just love you so much. You're so real, so much fun to be around. You're so giving, so kind. I can't imagine what my life would be like without you in it. You've just played such a big role in my life, and I'm so grateful for who you are and that I get to have you as a second mom. I feel so lucky, and I know I am. And I hope you have an amazing birthday and you know how much you are loved.
Jenny, I love you so much. You're the little sister I never had, and I always remember loving to see you when I came over to see your family when I was dating Sherry. And then I've just loved watching you grow into the beautiful, wonderful person that you are. And I remember when you caught your hair on fire, when you blew the candles out on the cake, when your 16th birthday or something like that. But my favorite memories of you, I think, are just watching you as a young mother and how much you love your kids and how much you just always show so much love for everyone and how much you love Cassie. I know how much you love her, and you were so good to her when she was growing up, and I know she loves you too.
My 2 favorite memories of Aunt Jenny are when she took me to the Eagle 3rd Ward Girls Camp, and we drove around looking for it up and down the highway for a long time, and we finally looked through the whole campground and found it after lots of looking, and it was just so fun to be in the car with her and laugh at ourselves. And the other one is when I skipped school and she took me and JoJo to do a bunch of fun stuff. We went and got hamburgers from Carl's Jr. and went and played at the park and went on a walk, and she even took us to a toy store and bought us toys, and it was so much fun.
Favorite memory of Aunt Jenny is when we went to Quinn's Pond and she taught me how to do a headstand on the paddleboard, and I fell in and I took her down with me.
Happy birthday, Jen! I'm so glad you're my sister. I wanted to tell you a few memories. First of all, I have adored you and loved you so much since the day you were born. I cry every time I try to do this, but I'm not going to right now. You were the cutest baby there ever was, and everybody just adored you, and we would fight over you, and I always felt very special because you would call me Lolly, and you'd want me to put you down for your nap, and I would lay there and sing to you and pat your back and pretend I was your mommy, and I still like to do that. And then when you got a little older, you were my best friend, and we would ride bikes in the front yard and play in the backyard, make mud pies, and explored every inch of our backyard and knew all the trees and flowers, and we loved to just be back there and be outside together. And as we got older, I remember that I started having kids before you did, and you were such a great aunt to Cassie and Brady, and I remember the special relationship that you and Cassie had. And you took her skiing for the first time, and you took her on an airplane for the first time. She loved you so much with all of her heart. And I know you always had a special relationship with her, and sounds like I'm bearing my testimony, doesn't it? Sorry. Okay, so I also have this picture in my head that one of my favorite memories is when you came over when Cassie was kind of sick, and Avery Joe and Jennifer Van Vliet, you did a private little yoga session for us, and I'll never forget how Avery listened to you, and she just laid on the floor for 45 minutes just perfectly still, listening to your voice and doing everything you said to do. And she was only 5 years old, and I thought that was pretty amazing that you can have that kind of power over people that you have to help them feel comfort and calm and loved. And your touch is just magical, and I know that you have influenced a lot of people through your yoga and the things that you just being their friend and all the things that you do for people. You're really an influence, and I hope you know that. For me personally, some of my favorite memories are our time doing stupid stuff that we do, just going thrift shopping. I remember going to pools all the time, from Wild Waters to Roaring Springs, Hillcrest, your house, my house, any pool we could find, we were always there. That was always fun. And our walks together, we've always been so lucky to live close enough that we could always meet up and go for a walk in the morning if we would get our butts out of bed in time. And we've just been so lucky that we're going through life together. One of my favorite things about you is that I can tell you anything and you will understand exactly what I'm saying. There's just nobody else I have that with. And I know sometimes it's kind of too much for people around us because we can kind of get in each other's heads and we get going on a conversation and it's like we're the only ones in the room. And I know that's probably not fair to everybody else, and I don't know how to stop that because we still do it. So I get lost when I'm talking and driving at the same time, when we're in the car together, and we just can understand each other so well that we just kind of take off in our own little world. And it's one of my biggest blessings in my whole life that I have someone in my life that really understands me. I love you so much. I hope we have lots of more time to make great memories. And happy birthday, Jen.